Ever wondered how the tides work? In this episode, I dive into the mechanisms behind why we get low and high tides. Enjoy. Tides. They can be a challenge to understand. And when I say challenge, I'm not talking about that highly dangerous challenge you can do with your laundry detergent of the same name. We're talking about a natural phenomenon that's slightly more moving, slightly less viral, and infinitely more important. If you have ever been to the beach, you've almost certainly seen the slow effects of tides over the ocean and may even know that it's the moon that affects its magnitude. But perhaps you don't quite understand the gravity of what's happening in front of you. Well, let's dig in. So what actually is causing the tides to move back and forth? As alluded to before, the major contributor is the moon. As with every celestial body, the larger the mass is, the greater the amount of gravitational pull it embodies. This pull weakens the further an object is in relation to another one. The moon may only have 1/100th the mass of the Earth, but its proximity means it is still able to exert a substantial gravitational pull. This pull from the moon's gravity generates something called the tidal force on Earth. This tidal force bulges the oceans towards the moon, and also bulges the opposite side of the Earth too, but we'll explain that later. As the Earth rotates, the ocean waters move into this bulge, creating a high tide where it is found. Picture yourself on a merry-go-round, and there's a strange moon-shaped man standing 5 meters from the ride, the world's most powerful commercial vacuum cleaner. As you come around to face the strange moon man and the vacuum cleaner, you start to feel the effects of the suction more and more, until you get to a point where you've passed the strange moon man, and your suction will inversely fall off as to how it arrived. Since you're listening to this highly credentialed podcast from a random guy with a multimedia degree, I'll assume at this point you've probably pieced 2 and 2 together. As the Earth rotates and passes through the bulge, you'll witness high tide, and as you move away from the bulge, you'll witness low tide. So why do some places, such as Canada's Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia, yeah, I know it kind of sounds a bit fake, but trust me, it's real. Why do they have much more dramatic tidal changes than countries in the same longitude? Well, the Earth isn't just a global ocean. There are several continents that get in the way. This prevents water perfectly flowing in line with the moon's tidal force. And thank God this is an audio podcast. Can you imagine how long it would take me to animate what I just said? Trust me, it'll take a long time. I've got a multimedia degree. Anyway, so how in Halley's Comet does a second bulge appear on the side of the Earth facing away from the moon? Especially when the moon's gravitational force is pulling the ocean's bulge towards it, right? Well, strap yourself in for a second. The content is about to get denser than the Earth's core. It comes down to differential forces. As we establish, the side of the Earth facing the moon has the strongest gravitational pull. Inversely, the side furthest, from the moon has the weakest pull. At the center of the Earth is approximately the average of the moon's gravitational pull on the Earth as a whole. To calculate the moon's tidal force, we subtract the average gravitational pull on the Earth with its pull on each location on Earth. Once we calculate that result, we find out that the tidal force is stretching and squashing the Earth, which results in 2 bulges, and hence 2 high and 2 low tides per day. Another interesting fact is that the Sun also has a gravitational pull on the Earth's tides. When the Earth, Sun, and Moon line up in space, they create an awesome 80s cover band. Oh no, they don't really, but cosmologically, when the Earth, Sun, and Moon line up in space, their powers combined, like Captain Planet, and you'll have an additional tidal force. This only occurs either during a new moon or a full moon. When the lunar and solar tides work against each other, this, as you would expect, creates smaller tides, called neap tides. That's spelled N-E-A-P. This happens during the first and third quarters of the moon's cycle. Lastly, Mother Nature also dishes out some tidal justice. Strong, high-pressure systems can pull down the sea level for lower tides. Conversely, a low-pressure system brought in by a storm can cause tides that are much higher than normal. Well, this episode is now all tied up. If you're not tired of me speaking yet, perhaps you can check out some of my other episodes where I'm slightly more informative and slightly less annoying. Well, to do that, you're going to have to subscribe. And once you've done that, you'll be notified when all my other episodes are released. There's really not much there at the moment, but hang in tight. These episodes will come out at about the same frequency as it takes for the moon to revolve around the Earth. How long does that take, you say? A month. Month, by the way. I've been Daniel Enright, and I look forward to teaching you more about this world another time.